When you're trying to grow a business, the competition around you can be fierce and daunting. And no matter what industry or country you're in, there's always a behemoth or two dominating your industry. But what's worse is that your mind has been hijacked. 9 times out of 10, your competition is not what you believe it is. 9 times out of 10, your competition are just empty wooden heads. This video will free your mind from the mental chains, take some weight off your shoulders, and reveal how and why you can outsmart, outrun, and outcompete 90% of everyone in your industry. UPS and FedEx will serve as an example here because the shipping industry in the US is dominated by UPS and FedEx. But keep in mind, the same principles apply to any industry, in any country, including yours. First, you need to understand this surprising but undeniable fact. 90% of all marketing people, from the most junior beginner to the most senior marketing director, 90% of them don't understand even the most rudimentary marketing basics. Wanna see some proof? Open 10 random business-to-business websites and search for the words we, our, or us on the homepage of those websites. Out of any 10 random B2B websites, at least 3 or 4 of them are gonna have the word we, our, or us on their homepage or as part of their slogan. This is just one tiny little thing, but it already covers at least a third of all B2B companies. And it immediately proves that there is not a single person at those companies who understands even the most rudimentary basics of marketing communication. Checking for those words on a business website, anywhere outside of the About Us page, that's just one quick check I do to examine how well someone understands marketing on the most rudimentary level. Because if someone's using those words, it's an instant tell that there's zero understanding. So there's no need to check any further. Like if someone doesn't know what's 1 plus 1 in maths, you don't need to ask them what's 7 times 7. Oh, and if you don't understand what's wrong with using words like we, our, or us on a company's homepage or in a slogan, well, let's put it this way. You already know that marketing is one of your giant blind spots, right? Right? See, that's okay. Everyone has blind spots. This guy included. One of my blind spots is being mean. So I'm desperately trying to improve. I need to be less mean and more vicious. Hunting down our blind spots. This is how we humans can improve. And this is how you can beat your competition. Long story short, 90% of all marketing people and 99% of all Harvard-educated marketing people are like parrots. They're just parroting others. A parrot can repeat human words, but it doesn't understand the meaning. In the same way, all those marketing parrots can repeat what everyone's doing, but they don't understand even the marketing basics. Some time ago, I was on a video call with a startup founder, and one of his advisors was also on that call. Now, I'm not gonna name any names, but this advisor was a professor at the business school. You know where this is going, right? But hold on, there's a big lesson in here. We'll get to that in a minute. At some point in the video call, this guy, the business school professor who teaches marketing, said something that made me instantly think, holy shit! This guy doesn't understand even the basics of marketing. He quoted one of the slogans that UPS used in the past, and this professor, he insisted that was a great slogan. The slogan, what can Brown do for you? Now, in general, a great business slogan can be a major business booster. Can be. But in this case, you guessed it. What can Brown do for you? That was the marketing equivalent of dog shit. And this professor was adamant that this dog shit of a slogan was great. If you aren't sure what's wrong with that slogan, don't worry. At least you know that you have a lot of catching up to do, right? So let's leave it there for now. Pro tip: just because a company spends millions on promoting a slogan, that does not automatically mean this slogan is great. No, in this case, it simply just meant that there was not a single person working at UPS who understood marketing even on the most basic rudimentary level. The only slogan worse than "what can Brown do for you" was the slogan that UPS adopted afterwards. We heart logistics. Of course, they expect you to mentally translate the heart symbol into the word love to get some meaning. But either way, if you ask someone who understands marketing on the most basic level, like 1 + 1, they'd probably say that to use "We Heart Logistics" as a company slogan, one would have to have an empty wooden skull. But of course, I would never say something like that, because that would be mean, and I'm desperately trying to be less mean and more vicious. Oh, and in case you thought FedEx understands marketing better, think again. The original FedEx slogan was great when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. That slogan was a masterpiece of marketing communication. Because back then in the 1980s, getting anything shipped overnight was a big problem. And when potential clients heard that slogan, when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight, to them it was like the answer to their prayers. That slogan made a massive contribution to rapidly growing FedEx in the 1980s. But when a bunch of Ivy League educated, empty wooden skulls took over the reins of the company, the FedEx slogan was transformed into "We understand." Holy shit! Hello? No, you don't understand. The irony of the "We understand" slogan is that it screams the pumpkin heads that are running FedEx today don't have a clue. Remember, FedEx is just an example here. Other examples you've seen earlier were these. So no matter what industry or country you're in, there's always something that dominates your industry, just like UPS and FedEx. And just like with UPS and FedEx, 90% of your competition is run by pumpkinheads who don't have a clue. And if you asked, how is it possible that every industry is dominated by 2 or 3 giants, despite the fact those companies are run by pumpkinheads? Well, if that's a serious question, take a minute to think and post your answer in the comments. Come on, people want to read it. And if you're feeling brave today, watch the video where I reveal how a wacky startup forced the industry-dominating Coca-Cola company and Pepsi onto their knees. And how you can do the same with industry giants in your industry. Oh, and speaking of industry giants, there is a thing called the Peter Principle. All industry giants are affected by it. And not just industry giants, all hierarchical organizations. People who end up at the top there tend to be the most incompetent at their job. That's the Peter Principle. If you've never heard of it, don't worry. You're already on a path to improvement. And soon you'll be learning everything you need to know, not only to beat your competition, but also to outrun and outsmart them every step of the way. Because no matter what industry you're in, no matter how big or well established your competition, at least 90% of your competition is utterly clueless and incompetent. This is great news for you, because if you can manage to get just the basics right, forget about anything advanced. If you just get the basics right, you'll be way ahead of 90% of your competition. The best way to learn marketing basics and advanced business boosters to outsmart 90% of your competition would be to join our secret mastermind community, link in the description. This mastermind community will also give you access to something that was the secret key to the success of Bill Gates and most super successful founders. But this mastermind community is not for everyone, and you might not be able to get in because there's a hard limit on the number of members. To help our members beat 90% of their competition, we have to keep at least 95% out. So the second best way to learn the marketing basics is to subscribe to this YouTube channel and ring the bell, so you don't miss the upcoming in-depth videos and live streams. Now, if I asked you what's the most powerful and at the same time the most overlooked sales booster, I bet you couldn't answer that question correctly, because this sales booster sits right inside a major blind spot that 98% of all entrepreneurs are suffering from. And when you are affected by a blind spot like this one, you could have the most powerful sales booster right there, right within your reach, but you're never gonna see it because of your blind spot. So it's not surprising that the most powerful sales booster is overlooked by almost everyone. Lucky you, because the next video doesn't just tell you the answer to the question what's the most powerful and at the same time the most overlooked sales booster, it also gives you a simple and practical way to knock out any of your competition. It's the exact trick a wacky startup has used to force Coca-Cola onto its knees. And if you use that same trick in your business, you can force any of your competition into submission as well. Link in the description.